Welcome to Personal Mastery Training. I'm your host, Alvin Brown, former world-class athlete turned entrepreneur and consultant. Join us as we learn from guests who have conquered their inner battles and share their journeys to success. Get ready for inspirational masterclasses and thought-provoking strategy sessions to fuel your path to personal mastery. Let's dive in. All right, everybody, welcome to a masterclass episode. As you know, I do two episodes. One is a strategy, and the other one's a masterclass. So today, I met someone recently, and I thought, I got to get him on here. Let me tell you a bit about him, and then we will get it started and pick his brain and get the journey. You know, success leaves clues. The journey leaves us clues. So I want to pick that out. So right now, I got on our podcast today, I have Adarius Pickett. He's born in California, Berkeley, California. He's a defensive back, graduated from UCLA, signed as an undrafted free agent to a number of teams, LA Chargers, New England Patriots, and had a tryout with the Tennessee Titans. He got picked up by the CFL. The last season he spent in Montreal, the Alouettes, in 2021. And now he spent the remainder of this year, with the Argos. He's come from an athletic background. His father played stints in the minor league baseball for Kansas and the Oakland Systems. Currently, this year, he had a great year. He was nominated for the Defensive Player of the Year in the CFL. So, Adarius Pickett, welcome to Personal Mastery Training. What's going on, man?
I appreciate you for having me on here.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. I see greatness. So I want to get you on here and pick your brain. So the first question we're going to ask in this series is football. How did you get here? I know you had influenced by your father in his athletic pursuits, but was football your first choice that you chose as your path to what you call mastery?
No, baseball was just like my father. I grew up playing baseball. I started playing baseball when I was 4. And I believe I started playing football when I was about 6 or 7. If you would ask me as a little kid, I was always going to go play Major League Baseball. That was first love, first passion. Football became something that I did because I wanted to be like my older brother. My older brother played football too, and I was always playing with him and his friends. I was too young to play with them at the time he started playing. And his first year, and I just remember watching, like, man, I just want to play. His next year was his second year. I thought I was going to be able to play that year, and they told me I was too young. And I cried. I was at church when I found that out. I cried. I wanted to be playing so bad, but they let me be the water boy that year. So I was the water boy, little baby assistant coach, Yeah. But at that point, I knew, like, I really am passionate about this game, and I haven't even got a chance to really play all the way like that yet. And the next year was my first year playing. Like I said, I was about 6 or 7 when I started playing. And it kind of just took off ever since. I grew up playing both sports. Half the year was spent playing baseball, half the year was spent playing football. And that I played both all the way through high school. Stopped playing baseball my last year because I graduated high school early to LA. Sometimes I wish I didn't do that. I had a lot of looks to go play professionally in baseball just as well. I had a lot of scholarships to go play football. And I know, like, in America, they pay full scholarships to go play football. It's like had partial scholarships and stuff like that for baseball for whatever reason. I know, like, football bringing a lot of money to the schools and stuff like that. So I had a lot of offers. Chose to go to UCLA. Like I said, I got high school early. After my senior year of football, after that season, I went to UCLA, and then went there, and that was a process that kind of ended my baseball career. I thought UCLA, they wanted me to play as well. They told me I could play if I came there. Everybody knew I was a 2-sport athlete. And my first year, since I graduated high school early, anticipated me coming in to college and playing as a true freshman, and that didn't happen. I redshirted. I didn't really know they kept changing my position. One of the key pieces even now to my game is my versatility. I'm able to do a lot of things. So, like my senior year in high school, I was offense and defensive player of the year for the league, my respective league that I was in. I was runner-up for Mr. Football, the best player in California. But I got to UCLA. I was playing nickel. I played corner, played running back, and then they finally moved me to safety. And it was funny because my thing when I was being recruited was if any school wants me to play safety, I'm not coming there. At the time of coming out of high school, I was All-American. I was ranked the number 7 corner in the nation. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to play safety at all. And that was just what it was. But the year I redshirted, our starting safety tore his rotator cuff the second game of the season. And I hadn't played yet. We played against Virginia. We played against Memphis. Third game, we was going to play the University of Texas in at the Cowboys Stadium. My DB coach came to me and was like, man, no, you're not playing. This is going to be your chance to get back on the field. I need you to come learn safety. Would you be willing to do that? So I said, of course. And I was, ready to play. I was ready to play. I just never I was a number 2 safety behind the guy that started after that. But he never got hurt, so I never got put in the game. They, I guess, wanted to save me anyway. But that kind of started my career at UCLA. I started on special teams that next year, and special teams got me noticed on as to be a starter. I ended up, I got a lot of time. That was my redshirt freshman year. My redshirt sophomore year was kind of when I really came on the scene on defense as a bona fide safety, and had a lot of success playing at UCLA. That was good. My last year at UCLA, I led the nation at my position in tackles. I had 123 tackles in 12 games. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I was going to get drafted. I had no idea that wasn't going to happen. Sitting there, I was told that I was going to get drafted between rounds 3 and 7. So anywhere between, I was going to be good. And leading up to the draft, time I was working really hard and was just ready to hear my name be called. And my name didn't get called that day. Day 3 of the draft, I'm watching at the house, my family, and I was down a little bit because I'm like, I'm anticipating this. This is a real journey and really exciting time, but it was, sad at the same time. So I didn't get my name called during the draft. I had been talking to the Chicago Bears throughout the whole week of the draft, and they only had 5 picks during the draft that year. And they had told me that if they drafted a safety, they was going to draft me. They didn't draft the safety during the draft, so that was the first team I got on the phone with after the draft, and they called me and we worked it out. So I signed to the Chicago Bears as an undrafted free agent, and it went from being all sad stuff to being real happy. I got an opportunity, I got a chance. They thought highly of me at the time what I thought, and I thought I had a real opportunity to finally be a professional football player in the NFL. And I went out there. We had they had a rookie mini camp that we was supposed to participate in as being rookies. Then they was gonna send us away for a week. We had a break, and it was gonna resume off-season training activities, what they call OTAs, with the veterans that have been a part of the team. So first 3 days, day 1 was fine. We had practice good. Day 2, I signed my contract for 3 years to be a part of that organization. And day 3 was real interesting because, like I said, we was going to depart that day. Every practice was normal. And I was one of the first ones they signed after the draft was over. So I was a priority free agent. So I got a phone call from the front office before I was going to go get on the bus. They said the general manager wanted to talk to me. So I'm like, okay, in my head, I'm thinking, he want to congratulate me for being a part of the organization and everything like that. And I was really excited, walking into his office. I'm like, I get to meet the GM. That's going to be cool. But as soon as I got in his office, he did congratulate me for being a part of the organization, said he happy to have me here. He said, but he had to make some changes. So I'm like, some changes? What you mean? He said, I got to sign an offensive lineman, a defensive lineman, and a kicker. I said, okay, like, that's not none of the positions I play, so I'm fine. Like, he said, with me saying that, I got to release you. So I just signed my contract yesterday. Like, what you mean you got to release me? Like, yeah, we got to make roster movement so we can have some room. So thank you for your services. Thank you for your time. Good luck in the future.
Cold.
And I'm confused. Like, this is a new element. Like I said, mind you, I just signed my contract yesterday, so I'm kind of like, is this even possible? So I get on the phone with my agent. My agent at the time was in Atlanta, and I was already going to Atlanta. That's where my flight was going to anyway. So I'm like, this perfect timing because I'm scheduled to go to Atlanta. I got to see this anyway. Get on the phone, like, man, what's going on? I don't even know what just happened. And he was like, man, we're gonna figure this out. I don't know. I'm like, bro, I thought they liked me because that was a priority to sign me after the draft was over. It was some backstory behind that. One of the players, one of the coaches had coached one of the players, and in college, and it was just a lot going on. But it was tough because now I'm on a flight. I don't have no team. I don't have no job no more. Just that fast. It happened just like that. And I get on a flight to Atlanta. I'm in Atlanta for 2 days, and I had got a call from my agent. Said the LA Chargers wanted to bring me in for a tryout to their rookie mini camp, which was like about 3 days later in that following week. So I'm like, okay. I go to LA. I visited LA in the pre-draft process. That's right where you sit, close by UCLA, wasn't too far. So I'm like, okay, it's gonna be familiar. Maybe this would be a better opportunity. So I go to their rookie mini camp, and I do really well. The coaches said that they like me. They just said that they wasn't signing nobody that day. It was Mother's Day. So I kind of was just like, okay, I kind of understood, they wasn't going to sign nobody, release nobody on that day. So I fly back to Atlanta. 2 days later, I get a call back from LA saying they want to bring me back for to sign me. So I'm like, all right, cool. I go fly back to LA and sign. I'm partaking in their OTAs, partaking in their training camp, preseason. During the preseason, I did really well. I was second in the team in tackles. I was tied for first in turnovers. We played the San Francisco 49ers my last preseason game, which I'm from the Bay Area. So a lot of family and friends was at that specific game. We hadn't won at all in preseason. And towards the end of the game, I got an interception to seal to win the game, basically. And I got interviewed from the Bay Area people, the LA news. Like, it was a big thing. So I'm sure they made the team. Like, I'm good now. Like, I'll be getting ready for the season. We go back to LA. They got to go through their little cut. It's 2-day cut process. Day 1, I'm fine. I'm good. Day 2, it's probably like 30 minutes left in the little process before the final team is made. So my mother called me. She like, you want me to fly down to LA to like help you look for an apartment and all of that? And I'm like, Mama, like, you gotta wait because I gotta wait 30 more minutes to make sure I made the team and all that. 15 minutes later, I get a call to the front office. They want to come see me. So the GM, he tells me that thank you for everything that you've done. I never planned on signing you for real. He said, I felt bad for your situation in Chicago, and I was want to give you opportunity. He said, but when we signed you back in May, I planned on releasing you 2 weeks later. He said, it just so happened to be, 2 weeks went by. We're like, man, we like him. He's talented. So he's like, I'm gonna give him the training camp. So he said they was gonna release me like a week in the training camp. But the starting safety at the time, he's still in the league right now, Derwin James, he had hurt himself in a joint practice with the Saints. So now he was like, well, you got to keep him for depth purposes. And he was like, man, as you continue to be here, man, you just continue to ball, but I just don't have room for you. So I'm like, okay. At this point, I can't say nothing else. I just leave. I'm like, all right, cool. So I go back home. I go back to the Bay Area, and I'm just working out during this time, and really just trying to keep my head down and work out. 2 weeks later, one of the starting safeties who I had played behind, he ended up breaking his wrist. So I get a call before I got a call from them, I had a workout with the New England Patriots. This was week 2. And I had a workout with the New England Patriots. That was a crazy process. They liked me. They said they wasn't signing nobody that day. It was me and a couple other guys. That was on a Friday. I got a call from LA Chargers on a Sunday to sign back to them. So I fly back to LA. It's a crazy process. Flying, working out, doing a lot of things. When I signed back to LA, everything was cool for about 2 weeks. And then the starting corner, I guess, was having back spasms or whatever. And they told me that they was going to cut me to sign another corner. So I ended up getting cut again. And at this point, I'm just like, I don't know what's going on right now. Like, this is a weird process for kids. And I was just doing a lot of praying. Like, I was just feeling out of all sorts of things. Because, it's during this time, like, your life don't stop. Your personal life don't stop. Some things was, transpiring at that time as well. So it was just a lot for me to take in at the time. I say the only thing that really saved me during this whole process was my relationship with God, for real. I was reading the Bible like I was trying to pass a test, for real. I'm just reading stories, and I'm like, God, like, I'm a good person. You had, like, all this negative stuff is happening to me right now. I didn't really understand at the time, but it was just a lot going on. About 2 months had went by, and I ended up getting a call from New England. And it was weird because the day I got a call from New England, they was going to sign me and bring me out there for the rest of the season. I was working out at my uncle's house in his backyard, and I had been doing the same thing over and over again, repetitively every day. And I was just kind of like, I don't see no progress. Like, what is going on? One of my cousins called me, and he asked me, like, man, how you feel right now? And I'm just like, man, bro, like, I don't know, bro. Like, I can't really explain it, but it just feel like I'm just stagnant. Like, I don't even know what to do. And he just said, like, keep going. And he hung the phone up. Like, literally, probably like 5 minutes later, one of my closest friends had called me and asked me the same exact question. And then he told me, and I gave him the same answer. He told me, just keep going. I'm like, man, God talking to me right now. It's the same things that transpired. 2 hours later, I got a call from New England, said they was going to sign me for the rest of the season. So they signed me, went out there, was on practice squad with them for the rest of the season. That was Tom Brady last year. We lost in the playoffs to the Tennessee Titans. And it signed me to a futures contract the next day. And then the pandemic happened. So the pandemic happens. They say we can't have any like in-person like training, stuff like that. So OTAs now is virtual. We doing meetings via Zoom. You got to send workouts in through this app. It was a whole lot going on. So I'm doing, mind you, at this time, Los Angeles is, shelter in place. All you gyms and stuff is closed. So I'm doing a whole lot of stuff, illegal training. My trainer, we getting in. We was working out at this one place. We got garbage bags on the windows so nobody can see in. I'm getting it in now because I'm like, man, this is my opportunity. I'm finally gonna get it. I'm finally gonna get it this year. I'm doing everything I can, sending coaches extra videos, extra workout stuff, and I'm locked and loaded. I'm ready to go. So training camp was about to start in July. They were bringing everybody there, and I fly to New England from LA. And I'm like, I finally get here. It's my second, basically, time being here now. I'm ready to go. And I had never, during this time, I'm living out a suitcase for real. So I never really unpacked my suitcase ever. Like, it's always clothes in the suitcase in case I get a phone call. I'm basically get going because they give you about 2-3 hours to get to the airport, to make a flight when they make these phone calls. But I had finally packed my suitcase for this training camp that I was about to intake and go on. And my mom had called me. She was just like, how you feeling? Like, everything, you made it. And I'm just like, Mom, I feel good. Like, this time right now, I feel like God gonna give me this. He got me here. I done went through all of this for a reason. So I had hit our travel lady up, like, can we receive packages to the hotel we were staying in? She didn't respond to me. So the very next day, it was a Sunday. I got out there on Saturday. Sunday morning, she hit me back and was like, call me when you get a chance. So I'm like, okay, I'm thinking it's about, the package I just asked you about last night. Um, I call her, she like, well, what time do you want to leave? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, we having training camp somewhere else? Like, and she was like, oh no. She said, you didn't talk to your agent? And I'm like, about what? She like, uh, because of COVID, we gotta cut down our roster from 90 to 80 people to start training camp so everybody can be in the same place. You're being released. Do you want to be leave? You want to leave at 6 or 8 o'clock? And I'm like, whoa, hold. Let me call you back because this is the travel lady. This is not a coach. This is not a GM. This is not nobody else. This is our travel person. All due respect to her, she has nothing to do with football. So
Yeah.
I called my agent. He like, man, yeah, somebody's supposed to call you. It's a lot going on right now, but they decided that you're one of the people that's being released today. I'm like, I just got out here yesterday. They could have told me this when I was back in California. Like, I didn't flew across the country to deliver an iPad. And wasn't there for more than 24 hours. I flew back to California and it was real slow. I was just working out. I had a workout with the Titans. Probably there was a month later. They didn't sign me. They signed the guy that was probably the worst out of the three people at that position. They signed him for whatever reason. I don't know. But at that point, I really didn't know what to do. And the running back coach at UCLA he's still a running back coach now, but when I was first with UCLA, he was our player development guy. So me and him got a real tight relationship. It's like my big brother for real. He a mentor. He played in the NFL. He just got inducted to the UCLA Hall of Fame. I thank him for all he is because he really, at a pivotal moment in my life, really put me in a position to still be around football. He had called me, asked me what I was doing, and I said, man, I'm just working out, just trying to figure it out. He's like, man, you should start coaching. Like, in the meantime, I'm not saying your playing career is over or nothing like that, but this will give you opportunity to still work out in a nice facility and, still be around football. And, you'll learn a lot. So, all right. They were supposed to, I'm like, what's up to, finances right now? Cause, I'm sticking and moving, but we got to make sure there's money. He like, yeah, we're going to make sure you taken care of and all of that. Like, they're going to make sure. I'm like, all right, cool. So I go to LA. I start coaching. I didn't realize until later on that my position, because they couldn't hire nobody right then due to COVID, was I was a volunteer defensive analyst. So what that meant was I wasn't getting no money. I didn't know this until the season was over. You know what I'm saying? When I had situations had already happened, but I was there. I learned a lot, man. I grew when I was coaching, and was thankful to be able to coach I was under because he treated me like a real assistant coach. He didn't treat me like a graduate assistant or analyst, anything like that. He let me do drills and stuff with the players, was really interacting. I'm on the sideline, helping him out. I learned a lot. Learned a lot about myself during that time. Learned a lot about coaching, period. Just the behind the scene things. Some of those meetings are very interesting when you start talking about, players and all of that. And just, from the coach's point of view. And I didn't make no money during that time, but I learned a lot and I gained a lot of wisdom. They actually allowed me to be a graduate assistant after that, and I was in the beginning of 21. And at this point, I'm thinking my football career is over. I'm thinking like I'm just about to be a coach now, like 100%. And being a graduate assistant, I started making what I was making, and they started paying for me to go to school too. So I already have 2 degrees. I have a degree in political science, another one in African American studies. And I started my master's degree in transformative coaching and leadership. So paying for me to go to school. I had a stipend and everything. I got an apartment in LA. Everything was good. I was as happy as I could be at that time, just doing my little recruiting stuff, coaching. And out of nowhere, I get a call from one of my agents that I had fired, one of his partners. And like I did, it was all good. It was all, respectful terms. It wasn't no bad blood or nothing like that. But he said, Pick, man, this team, they want to talk to you because they're trying to bring you in. So I'm like, in my head, like, man, what NFL team is gonna come in, and what team is it? Like, I'm ready. I've been training the whole every day, And he said it's a team by the name of the Montreal Alouettes, and I said, who? It was like CFL team, and I was like, okay. And it's crazy because I had a conversation with my father before and I had told him, man, if I ever got to go to the CFL, man, I'm gonna be done playing football because I had heard some bad experiences out there. So I'm like, man, I'll be cool. I just make my money doing what I do, coaching or whatever that may be, wherever I'm doing. We had a real conversation because he was just like, man, don't ever count out an opportunity for yourself if it gets presented to you in a certain kind of way. But I said, like, God working, funny ways, because I'm like, at the time that we had that conversation, if I would have got that phone call, I would have never went to the CFL. But the fact that I was coaching and I was on the field with my cleats and the players every day, and I'm like, man, I'm showing them drills, and I'm like, man, I should be playing right now. Like, it's no reason why I shouldn't be playing. When I got that call, I was ready to go. So I sat down with the head coach from UCLA, and I told him about the opportunity that had been presented to me. He said, man, one thing about it, we all know you can do this. Man, you've done an excellent job. UCLA is your home. You always have, place here, job here, whatever. Man, one thing about it, you can't always play, man. Go play.
Facts.
And that's how I came to the CFL.
Yeah, man. I love the story. There's so much here to unpack. I got three areas I want you to talk to when I'm listening to the story. I like to take the essence away from what you just said. So I want to talk to three things. One, there's a quote from AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, that says expectations is a setup for resentment. So, sometimes when we expect something to turn out a certain way and it doesn't, it can lead us to be resentful. I want you to talk to that for me for a second. And then I got two more things I want you to talk to, but that whole thing, I want you to talk to that first one is, when you look back at even when you were young, you were learning to deal with disappointment from your very young age, where you wanted to play with your brothers and so on. Then you got redshirted, and then you got this, and then you just kept on over and over. And some of them you were fully expecting. You're packing your bags, you're getting ready. Your mom's calling you, where do you want me to come down? And then bam, this like cold, just turn you around. So speak to that conversation of expectations, and how our listeners out there, sometimes, you buy something, you go to school, you invest in something hard and heavy with an expectations, and it just doesn't turn that way. And a lot of people let it lead them to resentment and forever just ruin them. So how do you speak to that?
During the process, I was reading the book, 4 Agreements of Life, and one of the agreements is no expectations. And one of the things that I had to come to grips with from, like you said, an early age was to live with no expectations. No matter what is transpiring, I gotta be me, no matter what the situation is. So sometimes, it is hard to not have expectations, but in order to be who I am and who I know I can be, I try to live by that. No expectations. I'm always thankful and grateful for each and every situation that I'm placed in, because I know it's for a reason. Sometimes, people might look at it as a loss of something, but I always look at it as a lesson. So it could be something to gain and turn lessons into blessings. So that's one thing that I've always tried to make sure that at every single stage of my life that I look at every situation with that. No expectations, but whatever is happening for a reason. What can I gain from that situation?
So you've, because I get it. I completely get it. But some people are listening, oh, how can you get there? How did you get there? How do you practice? Because that's not normal human mindset. Psychology is learning, training yourself to reduce expectations and be in the moment, because it's tough, man. It's tough. You got married, you expected it to go this way. You graduated, you invested all this time, energy into something, a business that you started. I had a client once who this guy was the most positive guy. Tony Robbins on steroids. Everybody loved, oh, he's positive. He used to walk in my home and ask my kids, what are 3 things you're positive about? And they had to answer him. And he was always like, I'm like, wow, I thought I was motivated, this guy. But he ended up leaving his certainty, his business he was in. He was hired, he was CEO of a company, and he got paid very well, did very well, and had a great family. Everything was perfect, check the boxes. So he decided, I'm going to go on my own. I'm going to start my own business. Invested his money in there, thought he had a contract locked up with his prior boss, guaranteed. Well, his boss sold the business. The guy didn't want him, so he lost everything. And man, this guy turned to pills. He was a 180. I'm like, wow, man, you fell apart. Wow, this is this positive guy. So when you're faced with, there's a quote, right? Everyone wants to be a lion until they got to do what lions do. So what do you do then at you're 27 years old? What do you do to nurture that, character? Because it's not easy.
I mean, for me, like I said, I grew up in church, and that was kind of been like the foundation of my life. But in that certain situation, when I felt like everything that could go wrong was going wrong, I knew I didn't want to have temporary peace. I was looking for permanent peace, and I knew the only way that I could really get that is if I looked to God. And I really say, like, from reading the Bible and understanding that and really diving into stories like stories of Job and stuff like that, it changed my way of thinking, like to another. It's like we as humans, we gonna experience trials and tribulations, but you gotta always know that whatever you're going through, it can and it will be better as long as you take the steps to make it that way. So that's kind of really just that unwavering faith that I've learned to come to have while trying to gain permanent peace within inside myself and not temporary peace as far as drugs or alcohol or
Exactly.
Don't dive into different things that don't really bring you quick gratification for the moment, but in all it really hurts you in the end.
Yeah, I like that. And for those listening, write that one down. Temporary peace. Those momentary things you do externally to give yourself an escape. Adarius is saying he's looking for permanent, solution to the problem. So I like that. So that leads me to the next question: is faith. Faith, and you've kind of answered it, but I want you to go a little deeper, because faith is not believing in something that you already know is possible. Wishing for a car, a big home, or whatever it is. That's a lot of people have done that. It's doable. If you know it can be done, I don't know if that's faith. Faith is believing in you've never seen it before, the unbelievable, the that everything is going to truly be okay. Because there's a lot of people who go to church, a lot of people who say they're religious, but they'll pray, they'll do everything, check all the boxes, go on Sunday, this and that, but they'll pray and then worry. So I wonder, what kind of God do you really believe? Because if you pray and right after you pray you're worried, is that faith? So tell me about how did you develop this unwavering, because you are human, how did you develop this unwavering faith in the belief in something that's not even here yet, but you can somehow feel it and see it?
Really, I really just say for me, it's never really been about the religion. It's about the relationship and understanding. Just like any good relationship, you gotta have great communication. And for me, in that higher power for whatever people serve, me specifically is God, and it's building that relationship on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? Making sure I dedicate time to communicate and to spend time, whether it's prayer, whether that's speaking and talking to God like he my homie for real partner, and really just being honest and being open and being transparent about what's going on in my life. And I can really count on and lean on him in all situations. So it's really just building that relationship, but it happens on a daily basis to really stay consistent so it don't, waver and go away. So it really can truly be there all the time because like I'm nothing without without God. And I can really say that because of the situations that I have been in and looking at certain things I have been through, it's like there's no way that I could have gotten through what I've went through without him. You know what I'm saying? So it's really just, like I said, building upon that on a consistent basis, having something stable that you can lean on and go to what the situation is, but being honest, open, and transparent about it all.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And so I want everyone listening and grab your journal and grab your pen, because I want you to write that down. That what Darius has said that I found brilliant. Talk is cheap. You got to walk your talk. So if you do believe in him, I like that. Don't have you're not about the religion, so lip service. He's about the relationship. So that means if you have a relationship, you are investing in that relationship on a daily basis. Don't show up, or don't pray, or don't revisit the relationship when things are good, sunshine, right? When things are bad, you're going to the relationship, but you're there constantly. You're constantly renewing your vows with your God, constantly refreshing it. And I think that's a huge thing for those out there. So if you want to know how he's built that, he's not about the religion, just putting a cross on and wearing it and say, going to church. I remember someone I know used to go to church frequently, and I went once with him, and I looked over and he's fallen asleep. The minute the minister started, he's asleep. I'm like, okay, so why you, what is this? Just check the box, right? Like God just, okay, he's in, good, he's good to go. Let him in. He's gone, right? Check the box, right? So I like that. Don't, no lip service. You're just putting it in. So that's what we have to do, man. So when you think about now, here you are. Aha, you didn't mention actually one thing I wanted to touch on. You did not mention one more. You're nominated for the Defensive Player of the Year in the CFL. Had a great year, great record, and you already thought, I got this. And you got disappointed, quote unquote. The expectations didn't turn out again. So how you doing right now? That's fresh.
Yeah, fresh. And it's funny though to sit here and talk about this now, because I can give you the same answer that I just gave my parents, because they was down here to take that in. I'm thankful.
Mm-hmm.
I really say I'm thankful because they got an opportunity to see me, one, dressed up, one, being celebrated in the light of, no, I didn't win, but I'm still considered to be one of the best players in the CFL right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I won Defensive Player of the Year for my team. I won Defensive Player of the Year for the East side. And you can't win everything,
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that they got a chance to see was me being celebrated in a way video was playing. They got a chance to meet everybody. We from California, which is on the other coast for real. So it's their second time out here. The first time they came to the first game of the season, and people knew who I was coming out over from Montreal and stuff like that in free agency, but nobody really knew what I was going to do when I came here. So for them to be here and see and get a chance to talk to my coaches, my teammates, the general manager, just people from the whole organization, and to see how people thought about me, not because of my on the field performance, but what I do on a daily basis, to my work ethic, my relationship with everybody, just how I am as a man, my character was spoke highly of. That to me meant more than any trophy could ever bring me. To see my mom, basically damn near tear up, listening to some of the things that people were saying about me, just knowing that they raised, one good young man to be in a position that, I have been fortunate enough to be in after thinking that my, career was going to be over. So,
yeah, no, they did their job, man. They did their job. I can attest to that. So now I got a question for you. There's someone out there listening. They've gone through one disappointment, two disappointments. They expected something that didn't work out, 2, 3, 4, 5. For you, the list goes on. What would you? And now they're giving up. They've given up. They feel beaten. There's a lot of people out there like that. They've tried, and they've been knocked down a bunch of times. How do they restart? What's your advice on restarting after I felt like I've tried everything. You don't know, Adarius, you don't know my situation, man. I've been beaten down, man. I've been, a buddy of mine, he was so beaten down. He was a doctor, had a DR in front of his name. And here he was so beaten down. He ended up grabbing a lawnmower and cutting people's lawn. So what do you do with someone who's now listening? And listen, Adarius, you don't understand my situation, man. Mine though is, what do you do to them to turn them around? What's advice?
One thing that I always resonate with myself, tell myself is, one, give yourself grace. That's to be number one. Two, really understand that if you give up and you stop, you will never get to where you want to be. Mm-hmm. That's a definite answer. If you just give up and stop, nobody's going to come and change your situation besides you. Like, another one is you got to inhale the future and exhale the past. Mm-hmm. If you can remember one thing, just remember and know that you are built to last. And if you do that on a consistent basis, positive self-talk and all of that, you will get yourself out of any situation that's negative, because the drive and the determination is going to be there. And from that, you will get to yourself to pull you to where you want to go. But mm-hmm. if you can change your mind, you can really change your life.
Mm-hmm. And you see now that a lot of people are going to say that sounds easy, and you make it sound, and you're doing it, but you're making it sound easy. But I'm going to go back to, I think the key here that everyone has to realize is that, for me, what I take away is Adarius isn't built different. He just practiced to be the person he is today. He has a relationship, meaning he's doing this. He doesn't wake up tomorrow. They say you won't rise to the occasion. You'll fall to your level of preparation. So Adarius, what he's saying, he's giving you the end goal, but if you go and look at how he's doing it, that relationship piece is what's sticking in my mind. He has a daily relationship with his God. So don't expect when you meet a challenge to, all of a sudden you have this energy and this ability to rise to it and meet it. No, you're going to get knocked down. Challenges will knock you down, but you'll fall to your level of preparation. So that's what I'm getting from him. And so vision, let's talk about vision then. One more thing I want to talk about vision, and we're going to talk about what you see for the future coming up. But let's talk about vision. The Bible says without a vision, people perish. So talk about having a vision, and how do you renew it every day?
I think the vision comes from what you may define as your purpose in life. And for me, my purpose of being here is to motivate and inspire people. Mm-hmm. And I really, truly believe that. So I had came to peace in understanding that if I had never played another down, another snap, that I'd be okay, because at the end of the day, God was allowing me to live my purpose from coaching. I was motivating, inspiring people, being able to tell them my story, being able to tell people, hey, I've been in your shoes. I've been here. I've been to where you want to go. Now I can pass on this information. And you can see, again, we talking about work. We talking about a person that's doing things. We talking about relationships. It's me constantly building relationships with people as well as I do with God on a daily basis. So making sure that I'm always living in my true purpose and never getting outside of that. Because I feel like if you don't have a purpose or a why, that's when, it's easy to fall to the wayside. If you understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, when times get rough and times get hard, you will lean on that to keep motivated and keep you going.
Yeah, I like that. So got a somewhat difficult question to ask you. That's not so easy to answer. And I like what you said. But I'm going to talk about a couple of things before I ask that question. How do they? Okay. One, you said earlier in the conversation, you were studying your Bible like you're going to be tested. And then though I'm thinking you were tested, man. So, and you're passing. So that study, those are not just words, you're saying them. And what I like about what Adarius is saying, a lot of people out there want to inspire people. As I said to you, the person I knew wants to inspire you. But where are you when the chips are down? Don't tell me what you think I should do. Show me how and that's when your life becomes an inspiration. When I created these word personal mastery, I met some challenges and I'm meeting some challenges, and where am I going to go? I might as well shut this down if I can't, stand by these words. So I like what you're saying. You're standing by your word, and you study the Bible like you're being tested, and you are being tested. So you're passing. So my question to you is, how does someone find their purpose? This is, again, I told you, it's not an easy question. What do you think? You don't know, I know nobody has that answer for everyone. How do you think someone can find their purpose? Because that's what a lot of people can't do. They can't find their ikigai, their purpose in life. What would you say to them?
Your purpose has to always be bigger than just you.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's always more out there. We were brought here to be in community with other people. So I think your alignment has to do something with that. Now, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know exactly what that may be or what that may entail, but me personally, I feel like I received that understanding the more that I got in relationship with God. Because that's when things start to make sense a lot more to me personally. And again, for everybody, it'll be different, but I tell a lot of people that is I feel like I don't know what religion you are, and again, it's not about the religion; it's about the relationship. And if you can
Right.
find a relationship with God or whomever the higher power is for you, I think you will be led down a path that'll change your life forever.
I got a question for you to further that. Do you find that if they stay in there, stay in the pocket with the challenges, don't quit? Do you think that with every challenge they persevere, their listener perseveres and pursues and to be relentless, do you think then the purpose is hidden behind every challenge you face and every challenge you come through? Because here you are now. If you'd have got an opportunity way earlier in your career, there wouldn't be no need to look for your purpose. You thought you found it. But through every disappointment, every challenge, everything you had to test your faith, here you are now on the other side going, I think I found my purpose. You see? So talk to that for me for a second, that people out there who are avoiding the obstacles the way, if they avoid every obstacle, trying to play it safe, they'll never find their purpose, would you say?
Yeah, you got to go through the hard times because I mean, you really find out who you are. And when you
Mm-hmm.
look here when you're doing those times, and what do you really stand on? What do you really believe in? Are you really having the faith that you think you may have? I think that those obstacles or those trials or those tribulations are definitely necessary, definitely needed for you to be who the higher power of God wants you to be at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I definitely believe that without that, it's hard because when everything is good, everything is good. You're not really tripping off too much for real.
Mm-hmm.
You happy,
Mm-hmm.
but when things are not going the way you want them to go, that happiness, tends to leave. But are you looking for happiness? We looking for joy. Joy, I feel like, comes from within you, and I feel like um, that plays an intricate part to your own personal success
Right.
and navigating through to your purpose in life. But I
Yeah.
do feel those trials and tribulations, as they say in the Bible, hey, they ain't coming. Adversity is on its way. So how are you gonna handle that? One thing I always think about is when you look at like storms and big things like that, the sun always comes out and shines again.
Mm-hmm.
You might be going through a storm, but Like, it's not storming right now. You know, the sun's shining down right now as I'm speaking to you. So it's like it don't have your times, just like every season has its times where the weather is not so good.
Mm-hmm.
Winter, the fall, or whatever. You look at the spring and the summertime, it's real beautiful though.
Yeah,
So every season that you win, it's a reason for it. And just understand that.
I love it. And one last thing before I ask you what you're gonna do at the future, what you see for the future is, there's a movie that I was watching and it's about I forgot the name of it, but the theme of it is if you pray for strength, God doesn't just give you strength. God gives you opportunity to become strong. So if you want to truly have belief and faith, you're going to get opportunities to test that because you're not going to just hand it to you. You're going to get opportunities to test it. So, here you are, as I listen, so many things, nuggets that people can pick out of your journey from, again, only 27. There's so many people who have quit too early. They never gave themselves a chance to get the lesson by persevering and staying in, and your purpose has now evolved out of this perseverance, and you still got more of the room to go, and your purpose is coming true, and that's when you're going to really get up every day, bounce out of bed. Sleep gets in the way because you just found your thing, right? So I love that. What do you think about what's going on for the future? What do you got going on? Again, 27, the world's your oyster. You have mastered the inner game. Well, you're mastering the inner game. What's the future hold?
It's a lot that will transpire in the future. I'm excited for the future. I'll be a free agent. I am a free agent now, so we're gonna see what happens with that. I know um, a lot of things will transpire in the next couple months for me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Praying for guidance along the way with that. Making
Mm-hmm.
sure I position myself like I did this year in a place where I know I'll be looked at and respected for my gameplay and a team that really want me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Toronto this year has been magnificent. One of
Mm-hmm.
the better organizations that I've been with
Mm-hmm.
from the start and everything. So I'm excited though. It's
Awesome.
going to be a process to go into all of this, but it's a lot that's happening for real.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Love it. And you know what? Here's what I do know. If the expectations don't work out, you're gonna be all right.
Most definitely.
You're gonna be all right. So, all right, everybody. I hope you got a lot from that. Rewind, listen again 10 times if you have to. And my mentor always said something, and I'm gonna remind you about it. He said, "One idea, well executed, will change your life forever." So you don't need to listen to this podcast again and get 20 ideas from this. No, you need one. Take one away. Take away religion. It's not about religion, it's about relationship. Take that away. There's so many nuggets that we're given. So Adarius Pickett, I know you're gonna be all right, brother. So I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you being on. And I'm cheering you on, wishing you all the best of luck and everything.
I appreciate you for having me on your podcast today. Made my day. Appreciate
All
you.
right. Appreciate you, brother. All right, everybody. If you know someone who's lost their way, someone who is just let disappointment, 1, 2, 3, 4 disappointments beat them down. They've been on the path, looking for their purpose. Some people who's lost themselves. They got to listen to this podcast. They got to listen to it over again. There's so many nuggets in that. So, like, subscribe, share, pass it on. Someone may need it right now that to turn it around. So, until next time. All right. Peace and love.